Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto and welcome to this new video right here on the crypto markets. We're going to do a full market update right here. Honestly, I will not be able to cover everything that's going on. There's a lot of headlines coming out right now regarding the general markets. Most importantly is obviously still the negotiations between the United States and China. And what that's going to lead to. At this point of time, we don't know much about that. We haven't had any updates regarding that. So when new data and when news comes out regarding that, I'll be the first to tell you. But at this point of time, it seems like the market is a little bit pessimistic, of course, a little bit pessimistic at least. The volatility index has opened a little bit higher, as you can see, which means that there's more unrest. Gold also inched higher over the course of the Asian session this morning, and that caused equities to pull back. Now, I'm making this video 15 minutes, or at least it's now 16 minutes before the US market opens. I am still fairly optimistic about bouncing here with the general financial markets. And that's why I'm also fairly optimistic about Bitcoin bouncing from this support level right here. Which I also said, which we're at right now, so between 111 and 109,000, but more on that in a moment. And that's also what it said this morning. And even though I think it's most likely we will bounce, the market at this point of time is not looking good. But we'll talk about that in a moment. So some other headlines that we saw. Larry Fink of BlackRock said some things about tokenization. It doesn't really seem like that has done anything. Very often what happens is that although get some sort of a reaction, we did not see that. Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan said, some assets are looking like a bubble and we don't want to buy back stocks. Maybe that's slightly bearish. And we have some Federal Reserve speeches as well. I think later this afternoon to finish talking about the fundamentals here, we actually have a Jerome Powell speech. I don't think it matters much what he's going to say in there. He is going to be talking about the monetary policy and the financial outlook. So it might be interesting, but I doubt that he's going to say anything new. At this point of time, when we talk about the monetary policy of the Federal Reserve, what we know is that 2 rate cuts are most likely, and they're not only most likely, they're actually most likely by about 97%. And I doubt that he's going to say anything that changes that, right? So therefore, I would say the market reaction is going to be mild. So let's get to our beloved crypto markets right now, and let's talk about that. So first of all, at this point of time, a lot is correlated to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance is also rising slightly over the course of today. So most altcoins will just do exactly what Bitcoin does, right? So therefore, it's critical to talk about Bitcoin. Now, what I said this morning is that if we wanted to see some more stability for Bitcoin, we needed to get a strong reaction at 111.7. We did not. All right, so that's why since this morning, I have changed my, not only because of that reason, but for that reason and something else and some other things, but I'll show you that something else in a moment. I've shifted my bias to be slightly bearish. All right, I think it's most likely that Bitcoin will be able to hold this major support level we have between 110 and 108,000. I don't think when we talk about the fundamentals, there's a reason to expect a move down into 104,000, which would be the next support level. That is a possibility, but short term, I would not say that's most likely, and I would not say that that's something you need to be cautious for. But yeah, I'm definitely not bullish right here on the short term. I think we can bounce, but if we bounce, Bitcoin bounces a couple of percentage points, and altcoins with the current Bitcoin dominance cannot rally that much. And if we talk about altcoins, what you can see here as well is that the total 3 has gotten a major bearish reaction at resistance, which is another reason why I'm slightly bearish on the market right now, or at least I'm cautious until we get some good news. All right, if we get good news, I might turn bullish in an hour, right? So be aware of that. But as of right now, I'm cautious and slightly bearish. I think we're going to pull back a little bit further, and I think altcoins are going to suffer a little bit more. So those are my thoughts kind of on Bitcoin, altcoins. Now, when we're talking about our favorite altcoins, so let's say XRP and Ethereum, I think Ethereum actually still looks relatively well. We'll talk about that in a moment. This is what I said regarding XRP. I still think that. All right, the selling pressure is not with a lot of volume. So if we get good news, we'll spike up instantly into 2.75. But for now, it looks more likely that we'll retest that that week low at 1.32 and the yearly rolling VWAP at 2.28. Now, when we're talking about Ethereum, like I said, I'm a little bit more optimistic. This is what I said this morning. I still think that's most likely as well. So pull back a little bit further before finding support, and potentially, if we get some good news, if we get some good fundamentals, potentially get a move into 4,500 and 4,600 again. But that's medium term. Now, talking altcoins, I don't want to talk about too many altcoins. BitTensor obviously is incredibly strong. If BitTensor, aka Tau, is able to hold $400 and $390 for the next couple of days, I think we can rally into $500 and potentially even $550 and $600. Very strong asset, and has been incredibly strong throughout this bearish pressure as well, which I like a lot. And then outside of that, two others to potentially look at are FF, Falcon Finance. Not going to call anything on this. It's very risky right now to trade, but this is interesting to keep an eye on. And Syrup, and that's it. Syrup, right? So let me pronounce it a little bit better. And that's it for now. That's what I think you need to know. So if you do have any questions, anything, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching, everybody. Trade with caution, stay safe, and bye.